Right now, if you could play golf with 3 other Carolina athletes of any era, who would it be?
Oh, of any era?
Any era.
I'd have to have Kenny Smith there because that was who I loved when I was growing up. I wanted to be like Kenny Smith, and I would practice dribbling up and down the driveway to see if I could do it as fast as him, and I never did, which is why I'm here. So Kenny Smith would have to be there. Sean May would have to be there. He's a lot of fun. You know, it wouldn't be boring. And I think I'd have to bring Bobby Fraser because he would just crack on everybody else, and it would never be dull. Just having played a round of putt-putt with him, I feel like on the actual golf course, it would probably be even better. So that'd be my 3.
Pretty good lineup right there.
So how often do you go, I guess 2 things with these summer league games that I hear a decent amount about. How often do you go see them, and have you ever gotten a chance to play in any of them?
They've got some standards. I have not ever played, and I seriously doubt that'll ever happen. And I try to go as regularly as I can. I try. That's the best time for me to see the new freshmen because I try not to read anything about them. I try not to watch them play on TV. I don't do anything until they get here. My rule used to be I didn't care about them until they signed with Carolina, but then J.R. Smith signed and never came. And so then my new rule became I don't care until they get on campus. And so once they get on campus, I like to go watch them play and have some idea of who they are and how they play and how they kind of fit together with the other guys. And of course, the other nice part is getting to see some of the older guys who come back. There's some incredible games down there.
Yeah.
Adam, what is the loudest you've ever heard the Dean Dome or Carmichael?
Ooh, the Dean Dome or Carmichael. Smith Center, Marvin Williams makes the shot in 05 to beat Duke and complete the comeback. To this day, I have never heard the referee's whistle blow. I did not know he got fouled. It was so loud in there, I didn't hear it. I just noticed everyone seemed to be stopping, and he was going to the free throw line, and then I figured out he got fouled. So I think that one. I think the Ohio State game the next year, people don't remember, but that was really loud in there. So I think those 2 would be the ones that come to mind. The Florida State game in '93 when Carolina came back against Pat Kennedy, and Florida State had a good team that year. And George Lynch stole the ball, went down and dunked it. That was probably the next loudest. Carmichael, I wasn't there. I'm too young for 8 points in 17 seconds, and I wasn't there for the comeback against Virginia when Jordan stole the ball and dunked it. But what I have heard is that when Jordan stole the ball and dunked it, that was about as loud as Carmichael got.
Yeah.
How would any of those moments compare to the alumni game this year when, boy, there were a couple moments then for Hansbrough, for Dean Smith, for Michael Jordan. That was pretty loud in there.
It really was. And I think what made it great was that everybody realized at the time they were doing it how awesome it was going to be. Like when something happens like Marvin Williams' shot, you don't know it's getting ready to happen. But when you see all these people lining up and you know Dean Smith is going to be next, you kind of have a chance to psych yourself up and get ready to, all right, we're going to cheer like crazy because this is Dean Smith and he did all this. It was right up there. I think because you anticipated it, kind of it brings it down a notch in your mind because when you think about that Marvin Williams shot, you just think about an explosion of noise. But when you think about Coach Smith being introduced, you kind of think about getting ramped up to it and, oh, here he comes. And so I think that brings it down a notch in your mind. I don't know on the sound meter if it actually was even or not, but it was close. But, I mean, I wouldn't like it. So if it was my ideal job, I'd try to do what I'm doing now, except I do it for the Chicago Cubs. That's the other team I watched growing up. I always watched Harry Carey when I got home from school. And so I would try to do exactly what I'm doing, except it'd be for Cubs.com or some branch of the Cubs.
So if the Cubs were to come calling today and say, we need someone to do color for us, you're our guy.
I would say that sounds great. And I'm sorry, but it gets really cold up there in the winter. and my daughter really likes her first grade class at Raskus Elementary, and she needs to keep going to school in Chapel Hill, and I need to keep staying here because, well, and, you know, it's a lot more fun when you win. And Carolina tends to win a little bit more than the Cubs. So selfishly, I would just like to see more wins.
Well, that's a good reason for me. All right, Adam, I think that's about all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us here.
No problem. Anytime.
It's been a pleasure, Adam.
Thanks.
Thanks.